But I've got a list of other things I can talk about. One of them just says Nadine Dorries.
Right, so this is your cue cards, is it?
Yeah. The other one says tractors. And it says prepare for a certain amount of hypocrisy stroke satisfaction. I have no idea what that means.
Well, can we draw a veil over all of the above? I appreciate it.
Thank you.
0345 6060 973. Look at the time. It's just past 11:30 on LBC. The news headlines with Tim Humphrey.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
You've got a good, your mind is a little bit, you know what I mean, three-dimensional.
No, I do not know what you mean. I can't believe it. Suella Braverman. I mean, it could only be better if Gavin Williamson threw his hat in. Suella Braverman has received a major boost in the race to be Tory leader after leading Brexiteer hard man Steve Baker decided not to run and throw his weight behind the Attorney General instead. Hard man Steve Baker, a former government minister, had been seen as an outside bet to replace Bodge, hinting as much in interviews that he was considering whether to stand. However, hard man Steve Baker declared tonight that he would not stand for the leadership after all and is instead backing Suella Braverman, who he said had the iron resolve and authenticity needed to lead the country. Wow, you think that these people are really actually smart. I mean, when you see them on TV, you think, wow, to get to where you are, you must have, some smarts around you. You must be, well-read. You've got to be bright. The rules of the leadership election have been agreed on Monday. However, it's likely that candidates would need nominations of more than 10 MPs, or more than 10 or 20 MPs to enter the race, says The Telegraph. And then the backing of 10% of the parliamentary party after the first round of voting to stay in. Mr. Baker is now expected to bring to bear his formidable organising and whipping skills to persuade other Conservatives to back Ms. Braverman. Braverman told The Telegraph, "There's no better organiser in Westminster, and I'm so glad it's my campaign that has got him. He'll make a vital contribution." Suella Braverman, Prime Minister. Am I hallucinating, or is this real life? Dave emails, "Hey Nick, Starmer getting away with Currygate is great news for the next Tory leader. They now have a great chance of winning the next general election again. They'll soon get back to around 40% of the vote with tax cuts and other freebies before the next general election. A change of leader might have got them worried." Might have got who worried? Yeah, but all of that. If by them you mean the Labour Party, yeah, I think so. I think that they will get... Well, they're not far off 40% at the moment. In fact, I think it's there or thereabouts. The two by-elections that we just had, that they lost their massive majorities, still, after everything that's happened, about 40% of those that expressed a preference voted for the Conservative Party. Bodge only got 46% at the general election to give him that stonking majority, which with our screwed-up system you can get if you get a minority of the votes. Think about that. He got a minority of the votes and got a majority of the seats and 100% of the power. That's got to change. It's not a way to run a country. Not a proper one. Ealing. Hello, John.
Hey.
John.
So, I tell you what, I don't know if I'm actually just daydreaming here, because at what point does Boris Johnson actually think he can appoint a cabinet? Who's given this mandate to him? And not only this, he's indefinitely staying in. He needs to be escorted out. I'm not a fan of Dominic Raab, but last time I checked, he's Deputy Prime Minister. So he could be an interim guy. Hopefully they'll chuck him out as well. But the idea that he can just sit there and poison the well, which is what he's planning on doing, he's just going to destroy as much as he can, because that's the kind of person he is. He's a sour grape merchant. He's going to try and destroy as much as he can and then run away with his ball. Because he's like, to be honest, I can also say this to you, Nick. I tell you, they should ban Eton for a start, because it doesn't create leaders.
Well, I tell you what they should do. They should reverse the favourable tax position that private schools have. Why should those who cannot afford to send their children to Eton subsidise the rich that can afford to?
So, Nick, could I just say one thing? Rishi Sunak, this is a guy that was sitting there and he refused to actually deal with the select committee after he made an absolute fortune after the crash that lost me a home and a job, right? And he refused to play ball with it, right? And yet we're supposed to actually, I'm a really nice guy with his little video. Do me a favour.
Yeah. No,
he's this...
precisely. He's a man who has made a fortune from betting on a disaster that affected everybody except for him. And that's how you make money. What is quite surprising is that we find that in order to make millions, if not hundreds of millions of pounds in finance, you actually, surprisingly enough, don't have to be that smart. You can actually be stupid and do it. It's just a question of luck. Like if you win a bet on the horses, you didn't have to bring the full capacity of your brain. You just had to get lucky. That's all. And that's what he did. Twice. Once with the disaster capitalism bit, and the other one with marrying the daughter of a billionaire. And everybody else should tighten their belts. The little people should not ask for a pay rise in case it fuels inflation, which was going up before they asked for a pay rise. Yeah. No, definitely not. Thanks, John. 0345 6060 973. Mary says, please do not tempt fate by saying the Muppet, which is Sir How Gavin Williamson will run for the leadership challenge, says Mary. So, I guess that makes sense. Dave says, will the next Tory leader or the one after, will it be the next Tory leader or the one after that starts to blame Johnson for Brexit, claiming it was now to do with yours? No, the reason that Brexit's not going well is because Remoaners don't believe in it. It's their fault, apparently. Carmarthen. Hello, Patrick.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Yeah. Right. I've had food for thought over the last few days. The reasons as to why Boris is hanging on, like a spider from a thing, whatever.
Hanging on the telephone like Blondie.
That's an intro for your music thing. Boris the Spider, hanging from a thread. That's what they said in the newspapers. Anyway, the point I rang you is the reason that he needs to hang on because it's going to take him a little bit longer to remove the wallpaper with his wife, with scrapers, over a period of time to either give it back to whoever paid for it or take it with him.
Right, that was a very long way around to he's going to nick the wallpaper, yeah. All right, thanks a lot, Patrick. 0345 6060 973. Wallpaper gate. Oh, my God, the bills. Did you see the released bills? Somebody doesn't like them very much. Pages and pages and pages. The stuff that they bought. And have you seen what it looks like?
Dreadful.
I mean, wow, it's hideous. Really, really off the scale, awful. Why would anybody pay anyone to make their home look like that? At any price. Whoever goes in there next is just going to have some bloke come around and paint over everything in Magnolia. Because what they bought is headache-inducing. Absolutely everything's got a pattern on it. Why would anybody buy that? How can you have a business, a functioning business, that sells it? I am stunned. And the actual prices for the stuff that they bought, I mean, wow. Of course, he didn't care because, as usual with the bodge, he just barges through and somebody else comes and picks up after him, which has been his thing his whole life. From being a spoilt little child, fast forward to where he is now. He just barges through and somebody else comes and, scrapes the vomit off the wall after him, metaphorically speaking. And so he just charged through and, bought all this stuff. I mean, it's just amazing, the prices of these things, without even thinking about it. I mean, somebody's going to pick it up. Somebody will pay for it. He just knew that it wasn't going to be him. If he goes ahead and, just has it as what he wants, then everything will be fine, because it always has been. There's always been somebody to come and apologise for him, to clean up afterwards, make his excuses. And he just ran out, or like temporarily. I wouldn't write him off. I tweeted this earlier today. It's like that point in a horror film where you think, oh, thank goodness, the hero has just killed the monster. No, check your watch. There's 15 minutes of the film left. The monster's not dead. 0345 6060 973. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LB.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Shut up.
I can't. 0345 6060 973. Chris says if Johnson stays until the autumn, he'll find a cunning plan and try it. He can't resist a last-ditch double or quits gamble. I bet that he hasn't actually come to terms with that's it, it's over, because his entire life has been moving up to this position that he finds himself in. Well, to be in number 10 is what I mean. So to be ejected so ignominiously is not really on brand, because his brand is getting away with it. That's why people love him. Oh, he's doing his best. All of that we had to sit through for the last 2 years. Oh, my God. People will excuse anything of him. And so it just doesn't sit well with him. It can't do. He's been able to get away with it, whatever it might be at any one time, his entire life. To now be upbraided and not be able to just bluster his way through by going, paw, it's me, paw. It does not compute for him. It's not on brand, and it's not going to improve his financial prospects any. Because if he had left on a cloud of glory, then people would be queuing up to bury him up to his eyeballs in money. But not like this. They won't want to be associated with that brand. 0345 6060 973. Glasgow. Hello, John.
Hi.
John.
Yeah, love the show.
Thanks.
Let's carry on with Boris, who's going to be the next leader. Do you not think we're wasting our time? You know what I mean? The whole thing's a basket case. In fact, you know what I mean? I think the whole of England's a basket case.
Yeah, but what's the alternative?
I mean?
What can we do about it? Nothing at all.
Not much you can do about it. You know what I mean? You've got that mob in Westminster, then you've got the royals, you know what I mean? You've got queens. Hang about, you've got a king, maybe got another king. Then you've princesses and princes, lords.
Yeah,
dukes,
but what's that got to do with it?
You know what I mean? The whole thing's a basket case.
Yeah, but you keep saying that.
Forget.
But what can we do about it?
So, the one thing we can do about it is just leave. Just leave.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Just leave.
Well, I understand the frustration of the Scots who would be like really irate at having to be led by this clown show that they did not vote for. Very annoyed. God, it must be galling. It's the English what have done this to you, John. Sorry about that. 0345 6060 973. It is. It's the English what have done this. We should. It's our fault. We should own it. We bought it. We own it. Abbot.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Exactly. Can't blame the Scots for it. Tina says, what do you think of Mr. Nadeem Zahawi asking for the Chancellor's job, getting it, and then telling Johnson to go? Even I thought that was low, says Tina. Any comments?
So obviously the...
Yeah, no, not really. Bulgaria. Hello, George.
Good evening, Nick. A question I have not been able to answer. Is it possible for the sitting Prime Minister to be expelled from the party he represents, and what happens next?
Is it possible for him to be expelled from the party that he is head of?
Yes.
I don't know the answer to that, but I would assume so. Why not?
While sitting as a Prime Minister, because then he can no longer be Prime Minister.
Well, is that true?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking. I mean, in 2019, he expelled incredibly easily 21 MPs who voted to defeat him.
Yeah.
In Commons. It was like snap of the fingers. Why shouldn't it be possible to kick him out of the party for everything he has done? And what happens next?
What happens next? Yeah, well, what happens next is a beauty parade, the likes of which you've never seen before.
Well, yeah, it's fashion TV.
Yeah, the least awful will get the gig. Let's assume. All right, okay, thanks. What?
That's a guess.
It's a guess.
That's a guess.
All right. Okay, thanks, George. Did he say guess or gas? It's a gas.
Rock and roll!
Roger text, do you think that Carrie is responsible for Wallpapergate as Boris was too busy turning a blind eye to Partygate? Well, he's been busy off his face. He doesn't know which way to look. Hey, Bodge.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
The full extent of the notorious Wallpapergate scandal has been laid bare. I haven't got time enough before the news, so I'll have to do this afterwards. You won't believe it. How much? Wow. I mean, why would anybody buy all of this stuff from the same shop, apart from anything else, and buy it all from the same shop that covers every surface in patterns, like headache-inducing? 0345 6060 973. Sam says, please tell me you've seen the clip from Parliament where Emily Thornberry sarcastically tells Suella Braverman it's an honour to be there with the new PM. Best thing I've seen, says Sam. Yes. Yeah, she quietly took Suella Braverman apart into her constituent molecules. It was great. Let's see. Be fair about this. Lewisham. Hello, Sue.
Hello there, how are you?
I'm great.
Okay, the last time I spoke to you, you had your carpets cleaned, your eyes were streaming.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Talk about eyes were streaming. Rashi, well, how can he go for Prime Minister?
How?
How can he go for Prime Minister? It's unbelievable.
Oh, you mean how does he have the nerve?
Yeah, how can he wants to be Prime Minister? I can't understand it. It's outrageous. He could have resigned a couple of weeks ago, and he never. It's a plan. He's resigned, so obviously, yeah, Bojo's done wrong, as you call him, but unbelievable what he's done. Putting all income tax up and everything and all like that. Just can't understand it.
Well, we'll file it away with all the other things that we're finding it difficult to understand, Sue. How does that sound? Cheers, my dear. 0345 6060 973. John emails, the favourite for the top spot replacing Bodger the Clown is Liz Truss. I think the general thinking, says John, is that a good... No, the listener with material. One thing is true, Rishi, Savid and Grant haven't got a hope. Perhaps Jacob the Dark Lord might if he declares his financial interests. Would you care to tell us everything you know about your financial interests?
I don't know anything.
He actually doesn't know anything at all. That's his story and he's sticking to it. Somebody else does it all. He just benefits from it. Sue emails, M also not sold on I'm perhaps, the I's missing. I'm also not sold on Fish's self-promotion campaign. I think he spent too much time in the States. Just listening to his ad, it's far too Hollywood and actually made me feel slightly nauseous. Not sure as Brits are quite ready for all that gush. He should try different music. Music? He had music? He should try different music. Don't know what to suggest, but it sounded a bit like that awful music you hear in a lift to a disco. He had music. Well, I wonder when he put that thing together. I mean, they can't just snap their fingers and suddenly they got lights, camera, action. Takes a bit of planning, bit of forethought. It gets worse and worse, don't it? He's already got his video up and running. Wow. It's a no from me, Fishy, and furthermore...
No.
Yeah, a no. Who would we want to be? I mean, for maximum amusement. If assuming that the Gav man doesn't want to do it, and assuming this bloke doesn't want to do it,
you're better informed than I am. I don't know anything.
Yeah, I mean that would be quite amusing, but I think more irritating than amusing. The Third Reich swizzle stick, very, very annoying with his phony politeness that he uses as a weapon. Yeah, no, too grating. We want somebody really knockabout and clownish. There's a couple of names that I can think of. That's assuming that they don't actually do massive damage to the country while they're there. I mean, if they just clown about, then that would be okay. But as long as they don't make any major decisions that would affect our lives. Unfortunately, that's probably what they'll do. Which underlines the fact that it is funny, except that it's happening to us. So not so funny, actually. Lynn says, the Education Minister, Michelle Donnellan, is entitled to a £16,000 payout for holding the office for around 24 hours. No one who ever served under Bojo should be allowed to run for PM. The party need to rebuild trust, and anyone associated with Boris is unacceptable, says Lynn. I think that's completely correct in every respect. All of those people that are saying now that, that's it. Boris Johnson, has lost my trust. I've just found out the most terrible things about the person that I have been defending in public for the last 2 years. Phonies, every single one of them. Every single Tory MP who's gone out to defend the indefensible Bodge by lying their faces off on TV and radio should be discounted from not just running for the next PM, but from being an MP. Unless you know otherwise, in which case you must correct me. 0345 6060 973. Nick Abbott, LBC.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC. This is LBC from Global. Leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
Yeah!
I just want to tell you all how happy I am to be back in the studio, making a picture again.
It's a radio show, dear. Those people that were singing Tom Tugendhat's praises, singing his praises, they didn't sound like Conservative supporters to me. It just didn't sound like they would vote Tory. I mean, you are aware that the Conservative Party is funded by billionaires, aren't you? Do you think that the interests of billionaires coincide with your own? Just asking. 0345 6060 973. You can text 84850, email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Let's have a call in Greenford. Paul.
Hello, Nick. Yeah. Maybe it is a real mess, and I don't see no future coming out of it. But
no future for me.
But could this be a turnaround for the Conservatives' fortunes if they do extract Boris from the picture?
I think that that's what they will be expecting, and I would expect that that will be the case. So they just rebrand themselves. They'll probably get themselves a new tone of blue. They'll get themselves a new logo, present themselves with a new leader, and pretend that they're a different party, going in a different direction.
And would you get Peter Hennessy as a guest on your Sunday show?
Who's that?
He's this political... He wrote Whitehall and Cabinet, two books while I was studying politics.
Oh, books.
Boring.
I'll wait till it comes out on video, and then I'll put it on my list. Thanks a lot, Paul. 0345 6060 973. Kate emails, yesterday I was watching the news, filming inside Westminster, and the way that the PM and MPs carry on, it's like they're all still at school and have never grown up. Yes, that's right. Because they are surrounded by flunkies and assistants and the sense of entitlement, and people will come along and clear up their mess for them. It is like being at school. It's like being at a private boarding school, Westminster. I mean, it's a bit Harry Potter-ish inside, so the architecture will remind them of their school. And it's very sort of clubbish. I'll say it again. When I went there, it seemed to me like it was us and them. Not the Labour Party versus the Conservative Party, but all of the MPs versus all of us lot outside. That's what it seemed like to me. The world's best club. A club that pays you to be a member. 0345 6060 973. Richmond, Arman.
Hello, Nick.
Yes, sir.
How are you? You all right?
I'm great, mate.
Excellent. Nick, can I just say that I think you're one of the most visionary presenters out there, because whenever I get depressed, I listen to your Zahawi numbers clip.
Yeah.
And I just can't stop laughing. And it's so appropriate now, because from hell, now he's Treasury, right? So that just obviously, he needs to know his numbers. I'm just glad that Priti Patel didn't get that job, because remember she had a problem sort of reading more than 5-6 digits in one of the kind of press conferences when she was announcing how many vaccines they'd rolled out. That was quite funny.
Oh man, if you say that kind of thing out loud, I think that does constitute making a nuisance, which means 10 years in jail for you, sunshine.
Is that right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Allegedly. So I just wanted to say, for people that wanted Johnson to be grilled for the past 5-6 years, they should just watch that the committee that he sat on, the horseshoe committee, as he referred to it, that he sat on yesterday. And, I mean, that was brilliant. 1 minute, he hadn't met that Lebedev guy. Literally within the next 2 or 3 milliseconds, he said, oh, yeah, I remember. I met him, and, there was no security or whatever. And one of the guys there said, you want to bring back the imperial measures? And he goes, yeah, I think, that would be a good thing to do. And he said, well, can you tell me how many ounces there are in a pound? And Boris was absolutely struggling. I don't know if you saw that.
No,
he's like, well, I didn't. I don't know.
I don't watch any of those, because I don't know why the newspapers always put the word influential in front of the words select committee, because they aren't. Nothing ever happens from those things. They get around a table, they ask questions, they're not answered, that's it.
That's it. I think you're right. And just in terms of, just a final couple of points, in terms of the next candidate, I think let's throw Fabricant into the mix.
Yeah, why not?
Right? Because it can't get any worse, right? And the next guy is not going to come and fix the, interest rate issues or the rate of inflation. Let's just make sure that whoever comes in discloses their financial details But he discloses who his hairdresser is.
Yeah.
That's all we need from him, right?
I would love to know what that is. What's it made of? Because it looks like somebody's upturned pasta on top of his head. He's the only guy I know who wears a colander as a hat. All right, thanks a lot, Arman. 0345 6060 973. I mean, I'll repeat myself. Why not? There was a picture of him sitting on the benches in the Commons the other day, and he was sitting at an angle. He sort of twisted himself so you could see the back of his head, and it looks bad from the front. It looks as though it's made of plastic, doesn't it? Like it's been moulded out of plastic. Or, like I said, it's a plate of pasta that has congealed. But if you look at it from behind, it looks like there's been an explosion at the back of his head that has blown his hair, or whatever that is, out. And so, as bad as it looks from the front, it's even worse from the back, if you can believe that. What is it? I think that it must be his actual hair, because no one would buy a wig that looks like that. But how do you get hair to hold that shape? It's like a magic trick. But yeah, I would like him to stand. I'm getting my popcorn ready. I'm going to get my easy chair in just the right position, and I'm going to watch this like Carry On Westminster. The circus is in. Oh, Stuart texts, how about Michael Fabricant? Is he a Tory or a Whig? Oh. A political joke.
Oh, no.
0345 6060 973. Let's have a call in Lewisham. D-Row.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Where do we start?
What?
Where do we start?
Start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start.
Okay, brilliant. Right, well, my start is Brexit. If you remember, it was Nigel Farage and Boris started out the Brexit. Then all of a sudden they've split.
Yeah.
Yeah? So when they've split now, Boris has been the Prime Minister and what's his name? Farage has kept up the Brexit. Anyway, let's move on quickly, because if we didn't go into Brexit, they couldn't have put us into lockdown.
If we didn't go into Brexit, they couldn't have put us into lockdown?
Yeah, definitely not.
Why not?
Because the old laws would have kept us out of Brexit.
Old laws? What laws?
The old laws, what we had before, would have kept us out of the lockdown. We was protected from that lockdown.
By old laws?
Yeah, the old laws.
What laws?
The laws what they've changed when they've changed Brexit.
Right. I'm just going to hazard a guess that you don't really know what you're talking about, D-Row.
I do. I definitely do.
Oh, okay. Well, I must be thinking of somebody else then. How's Brexit going, by the way?
Brexit's going great.
I'm glad to hear it. Thanks a lot, D-Row, for whatever that was. Paul says the new Conservative Party logo could be a donkey with a donkey with a traffic cone on its head. Is what Brexiters call a unicorn. I like that idea. I'd vote for that party. A donkey with a traffic cone on its head. Shahaf emails. There's already a Lord Johnson, Joe Johnson. Let's not forget the Bodge appointed his own brother to the House of Lords. That says a lot about the Bodge's sense of entitlement. What a way to run a country, eh?
Dreadful.
I mean, really. Mark text, it's got to be Johnny Mercer, ex-military, or my MP from Bromley South. Who's that? Is it one and the same person? Sarah says, don't forget, Liz, Liz Truss will be opening up... Liz Truss will be opening up pork markets in Beijing. Yeah. And did you know that people in Britain, that 60% of the cheese that British people buy is French? That is a disgrace. Oh, please run, Liz. Pretty please with sugar on top. Go on, I double dare you. Peterborough. Hello, Paul.
Hi, Nick. Everybody's on about people who are going to run for the leadership. I personally think after listening to Boris's speech, he's going to call a snap election because he wants to put it to the people because he believes he's got this mandate and that the Conservatives are taking his toys off him, shoved him in the corner. He ain't going to settle for that. I reckon that because the Prime Minister is the only one who could call a general election and he still has that power.
It would be the nuclear option, that's for sure. Because they would probably, well, he's, yeah.
He's got nothing to lose. One way or the other, he'll be out.
Yeah.
But if he wins the general election, because the Tories can't fight two things on the same front, there's no way they can have a leadership battle plus fight the Labour Party in a general election.
Yes.
So if Boris wins, he's going to turn around and say, well, look, I've just won you another general election.
Uh-huh. And if he loses, then he's out in his ear anyway. So it don't make never mind. Yeah.
Exactly. So what's he got to lose?
Well, I would expect him to do whatever Trump would have done in the similar circumstance. Now,
And that's exactly what Trump would do. He'd just rerun the election.
He would do anything he could, up to and including leading, not leading, pretending to lead an armed march onto the Capitol building. Yeah, we're in bizarre times. I mean, it seems funny now, but like the dinosaur movie, at first it's all ooh and ah, and then there's the running and the screaming. Thanks, Paul, for that alarming intervention. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC.
Nick Abbot on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Some nobodies.
0345 6060 973. Rich texts, is Grant Shapps getting in agency staff to cover the minister vacancies? Getting in agency staff. Well, I think it might be a better idea if, say, a train driver ran the country. Who's with me? Anybody else might be good at this point. Erith. Hello, Steve.
Hello.
Steve.
Thank you for having me. I was doing a crossword earlier, and you know Bodger and his keep on with these Latin speak.
Yeah.
When I opened the dictionary, the first word that jumped out at me was, with a C, canker, which means something evil that spreads and corrupts.
Right.
But I just thought I'd point that out. And
that was the first word that sprang out when you opened the dictionary.
Yeah.
Right. What happened to the A's and the B's? Was that in another dictionary?
Probably. I've got these are all old dictionaries. From this one's 1981. But also, people are still backing him, and someone was speaking to Sheila Fogarty earlier, and he was getting irate, saying that he's apologised.
Oh, he's doing his best.
Before saying he's done nothing wrong.
Yeah, of course.
But he's apologised. But people are still on his side, basically.
Steve, the masses are asses. Don't forget that.
I'm with you. And I also think that you're right with people should be means tested for voting.
Well, not means tested exactly. They should go through some sort of, not an IQ test necessarily, but they should be able to work out how to leave a room by using the door. You know, some basic test like that.
Yeah. Do you ever watch the young ones at all?
Well, I did when it was out originally.
You just reminded me of something else that I found funny. It was when Vivian comes down and crashes through the wall one day, and Mike says, Vivian usually comes through the door, and sometimes he even opens it.
Right.
Sorry.
Okay. You had to be there. Thanks a lot, Steve. 0345 6060 973. Mike emails, I wonder if you heard that lovely analogy made by a BBC reporter the day before the Bodge resigned. He said that if more and more MPs resign, then Sir Graham Brady will go to Boris with a glass of whiskey in one hand and a gun in the other, knowing that Boris will drink the whiskey and then shoot Sir Graham with the gun. Yeah, that's I've heard that quite a few times just lately. Nick texts, what do you think Nadine's next job will be? Oh, director of the National Opera? Principal dancer of the National Ballet? I don't know. Stamford Hill, Joseph.
Yes, Nick.
Joseph.
Yes, you know what? I'm wondering about this guy, Rishi Sunak.
Yeah.
He seems, he looks like he's kind of a snake to me.
Looks a bit fishy to me, yes.
Exactly, very fishy. How can he possibly do a 3-minute video in 2 days after the Prime Minister resigned?
Doubtful.
To me, of course, to me. But you are a clever guy. Don't you think that this guy has been planning all since Boris got into trouble?
Well, if he did buy the domain name Ready for Rishi in December last, then that does indicate to me a certain... I don't know, is it untrustworthiness? Is it a certain oleaginousness?
Yeah, okay. So, let us put it this way.
Yeah.
Oh, let me ask a question. How can Rishi be trusted then?
Yeah, can't. I wouldn't trust him.
Oh, well, okay. That's good. That's what I wanted really to find out from you.
Right.
I knew you would come out with a very good answer.
And if that was the answer you were looking for, then I'm glad to have provided it.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks a lot, Joseph. Another satisfied customer.
Affirmative.
0345 6060 973. Jim says, I can't wait for Liz Truss's promotional video. I wonder if she'll be what she'll be wearing and what she'll choose for the background music. She'll be rooting through her box of hats. I think she'd look good in like a full-face gas mask. Just trying to help, Liz. Now, who wouldn't want to see that? Hands in the air. Keep them up while I count. Everybody. Sue texts, presumably at some point in the near future, the rule book about Prime Ministers overstaying their welcome at number 10 due to conduct issues will either have to be written, if it doesn't yet exist, or amended to suit the current circumstances. If a chief executive in private industry was forced to resign for similar reasons, I somehow don't think they'd be allowed to hang around. More likely they'd be shown the door and waved bye-bye. Correct, Amundo. They'd be surrounded by security and they'd be frog-marched to the door.
Bye-bye.
And they'd be told that their effects from their desk would be sent on after them. Yeah, you don't get to stick around. Simon's, particularly, I mean, the reason that they've given and he continues to be surrounded by supporters, if you can believe that. And the reason that they have given that he is sticking around is because he feels a moral and patriotic duty. Yeah. Please don't do it on our account, Bodge. You have delighted us enough. 0345 6060 973. Simon says, well, that's Sunak out of the running. You can't produce a slick video like that in 24 hours. Surely he's been planning this for a while. Fishy by name, fishy by nature. Bermondsey, David.
Hello. Hi, Nick.
David.
Hi. Can I say I completely agree with the previous caller about Rishi Sunak? Yeah.
Right.
And I just want to say, Nick, I just want to make a comment about Boris Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
To me, Nick, Boris Johnson is a charmer, and you should always be very wary of charmers.
Exactly.
Warning.
Yes.
And you know, when he was dangling on the cable car 15 years ago, whatever it was, he was trying to play the fool to try and please the common audience, if that makes sense.
He always has done that, and that's always the up to this point. That's been the result, that people around him have been charmed because they think that this sort of untucked act of his is who he is, but it's not.
And those kinds of people are good for certain jobs, but to be leaders, I'm sorry, but your limit is set when you start doing stupid things like dangling on a cable car.
Well, the difference between being the Mayor of London and being the Prime Minister is huge, because being the Mayor of London, your job is essentially to attract attention to London with the rest of the world, and that's what he was doing with that, you know.
Yes. Nick, when he was Mayor of London, if he had been in charge of a real company, that company would have gone bankrupt.
Yeah, no doubt.
He stayed in the job because he was being bankrolled by the taxpayer.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. I couldn't agree more. All right, keep your eyes peeled. Thanks a lot, David. 0345 6060 973. I am furious, by the way. I still haven't managed to find out who it was that let him down from that zip wire. I want the name of the person who let him down from the zip wire. He could still be up there.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
0345 6060 973. Lucy texts, after Bojo goes, will there still be a Minister for Brexit Opportunities? I think I probably read that one. Will there?
I don't know anything.
No, we're unsure at this point, Lucy, but keep asking. Liz says, we the public pay taxes for checks, probably checkers, for checkers, number 10 and 11 Downing Street. Can we apply for a Section 21 and have Bodge removed for squatting? I don't know what he thinks he's going to do in there, and what's the plan, Bodge? I mean, you can't just stay there, you know? The country doesn't want you there anymore. Read the room. But he's not remotely interested in what we think. I don't know. I should have looked this up before I came. I am very bad at this job. I should have looked this up before I came in. But how many and what would be the process of ennobling people? How many can he get away with? And what would be the process for a PM to ennoble people? Because I think there would be an absolute orgy of ennoblement. He is going to take anybody that can do him a favour in the future and stick him up the House of Lords. I'd be stunned if the next leader didn't put him in the House of Lords. There will be an absolute outcry, but what do they care? They don't care what we think. You think that Boris Johnson cares what we think? He put his own brother in the House of Lords. They're just not remotely interested in what we think. They think that they can continue to get away with it, whatever it may be at any given time. And the reason that they think that is because they can. They have. We keep letting them get away with it. It's our fault. And we should all be very, very regretful.
I am very sorry that I screwed up. Totally I mean, I am so sorry. You just don't know how sorry I am. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, don't blame me. I didn't vote for him. 0345 6060 973. Here, by the way, me and Carol McGiffin do a podcast.
Yeah.
It's called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol? In which the delightful Carol McGiffin and I try to solve people's problems while laughing our faces off. We're very, very helpful. Ain't that right, Carol?
No.
If you want your issue to get solved by the inexperts, then simply send it to the following address: nickandcarol@global.com. nickandcarol@global.com, and be prepared for a certain amount of satisfaction.
Oh, right, yeah.
Ask for it by name on an internet near you. What's your problem with Nick and Carol? I think you'll love it. It's 12:30 on LBC. The news headlines now with Tim Humphrey.
Leading Britain's conversation. LBC with Nick Abbott.
So they opened their big mouths and out came talk. Talk, talk.
0345 6060 973. Let's go to Camden and speak to Claire. Claire.
Hi, Nick.
Claire.
With the Brexit, there may be two consequences. One is that many people will lose their. He was a source of inspiration for cartoons and jokes and everything.
Yeah.
So it may not be so funny around.
Yes. We may have an insufficient amount of funny, yes.
But the other consequence may be more chilling.
Go on.
Because he was maintaining the Brexiters' hopes for some kind of Brexit at some point. And with nobody to maintain their hopes anymore, there may be another wave of anti-foreigners accessions.
Anti-foreigners what?
Accessions.
Yeah,
violence.
Oh, violence, did you say?
Violence, yeah.
Violence?
Violence. Like...
Hitting?
Like people...
hitting?
Yeah.
Right, violence.
Physical.
Right.
Yeah, physical, verbal, any kind of hatred and violence.
I don't think Boris Johnson being in position is stopping the hatred and the violence. I think, if anything, his entire attitude seems to foment division rather than bring people together.
That's true, but he was channeling it in some way.
Right.
And when there is nobody to channel the violence, the hatred, it goes into... I don't want to say it.
Right. Well, don't then. Problem solved. Yeah, I would. I think that the next person that comes, well, you know what? It could be worse on every measure. We'll find out when we get there. But as for the notion that him being in power somehow keeps us all ticking along smoothly, well, I beg to differ. But I do share your concern about the future, Claire, if that's any help.
Yeah. No, he wasn't helping against the hatred.
No, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Nick.
well, don't leave upset. Can I... How about this? You do go, but go with this. There, do you feel better? A little bit. All right. Thanks, Claire. 0345 6060 973. Tell me anything that Ken Dodd can't improve. Exactly. Sally texts, is there any rule to stop Johnson from ennobling himself?
Disgusting.
I bet he's in there ennobling himself as I speak.
Dreadful.
Sally says, is there any rule to stop Johnson from ennobling himself? And if there is, does that matter? If there is a rule, yeah, it won't matter to him. It'll be, but he'll just get his mates and he'll say, I'll ennoble you, and then you can ennoble me later. Elaine says, talking about hair, do you remember Grecian 2000? It restored your original hair colour when you went grey. How did it know what colour you used to have? What if you were previously a brunette and it restored you to a ginger? I'm always pondering this, says Elaine. Well, that is an excellent question, Elaine. And I haven't addressed that issue head on, but it has occurred to me in the past as well. How does Grecian 2000 know what your hair used to be? Nicky texts, what do you think Moggy will do now? Surely and thankfully he'll be assigned to history, says Nicky. Well, I think he'll probably go and spend more time with his money. Wherever it is. I think he'll probably have to take a plane to go visit it. Patriotically taking it out of the country. You know, what with Brexit and all not being too good for the future finances. Like a slowly deflating balloon, this country. Which is, by the way, exactly what Ramona's said would happen. Not Project Fear, Project Fact. Lorcan emails. I reckon the Attorney General thinking she should be Prime Minister is a reflection of both how far from reality she is and what a state the Tory party is in. Crazy times. Suella Braverman. I mean, come on. But please run. Please run. I'm begging you. I want a full complement of contestants. There's more. It says that Tom guy seems the best of them. He regularly takes the bleep out of Johnson in the select committees, although the way he bogged up his military past concerns me. What do you mean by bogged? What does that mean? Crazy times, says Lorcan. Well, you got that right. Yeah, maybe it's the heat. Birmingham. Hello, James.
Hello.
James.
Sorry, I've been waiting for so long.
Oh, no. 23 minutes?
Yeah. Yes.
That's not long.
Stop whining. My opinion's changed a little bit over the time, but I'm just wondering why we're still talking about the buffoon.
Why? Because he's still there. He's not going.
Why is he still there?
Because he has no shame.
Because he has no clue.
Oh, he's got clues, all right. He's
got no clue about anything.
The benefit of not having any shame is that you can't be guilted into doing the right thing.
Yes, that's right. And he never apologises for anything. He's the kind of person who goes to bed and then thinks tomorrow's going to be better and something worse will happen, so it will let him off.
Right, I followed some of that.
That makes sense. I'm sorry.
Not really. A person that goes to bed and thinks tomorrow's going to be a better day is an optimist. Is he an optimist or is he just deluded? I think maybe the latter. But you know what? People like him, and him specifically, have gone to bed in a room that's an absolute chaotic mess, thinking it will be better the next day, that he'll actually wake up and everything will be tidied away. And he still thinks that because it always has been. There's always somebody coming along to clean up after him, to make everything better, to make everybody love him again, even though he vomited up the walls and he spilt red wine on the sofa. I don't know whether he vomited up the walls, but somebody did. I know that. Thanks, James. 0345 6060 973. George texts, if Suella Braverman becomes PM, it will be the single most inspiring thing for each and every girl in the country, as it will prove that anybody, literally anybody, can become PM. Well, that's a good point, George. Another excellent reason to run, Suella. Rosie says, Boris may have the biggest vacation rollout, but how... Vacation? Boris may have had the biggest vacation rollout. Vaccine rollout? But how effective was it? The test and trace cost £43 billion, yet alone buying useless PPE, but there is no money for NHS key workers, says Rosie. Kind of all over the place, but I get what you're saying. Always check your text before sending it. Does anybody check their text before sending it?
No.
I don't think anybody does. You just swiggle your finger over the screen and you think, oh, that'll do. Just read it before you hit send, that's all. Nikki says, what do you think Moggy will do now? I read that one. Mark says, I've got 2 questions. Question 1, is the Bodge now actually technically squatting in Westminster? And is it possible that a less right-wing new leader could lead us down a path that's more EU-friendly? I'm pretty sure I read that one as well. It's we're all repeats now on this show. It's like it's like well, every television station, they seem to be just repeats. I mean, it gets worse every year, but this year it seems to be particularly bad. But you know, when the weather's good outside, who wants to watch TV, right? Wembley, Lawrence.
Good evening. You're on top form tonight.
Thanks,
Nick.
Lawrence.
I would like to nominate my candidate for the next Prime Minister,
Righto.
a man who's shown himself to be a man of integrity.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we want. Ian Duncan Smith. What do you think?
I refer you to the answer that Goofy gave some seconds ago.
Yeah? What was that?
But that was...
No, seriously, I think he would be a good Prime Minister.
Oh, you are being serious?
I am being serious.
Right.
I mean, he resigned, and I listened to him recently, and he came across... he had some good things to say about the present cost of living crisis.
Is that a fact? Well, I would encourage him to throw his hat in the ring too. The more, the better.
Right. Yeah, great.
I mean, I'm getting settled in for the show. I can't wait. This is going to be great. Thanks a lot, Lawrence. Thought he was being sarcastic. You'd never know. Rachel texts, just watched the Ready for Rishi video. Good job Rishi's family came to the UK back in the day. Otherwise, they would have been sent packing to Rwanda and missed out on all these wonderful opportunities. We need a general election. Tories out the lot of them, says Rachel. Stop sitting on the fence, Rachel. Tell us what you think. Liverpool, Gareth.
Hey, Nick.
Gareth.
Great show as usual. You make my drive home very entertaining. But
thanks,
I was
Gareth.
listening. My pleasure. I was listening to the clips from Rishi's pitch, and it was really quite pathetic. But I thought he can't win because immediately upon appointment, he'd be the shortest-serving Prime Minister, wouldn't he? And that wouldn't work very well at all. And
was that a heights joke?
Well, it was a high joke, yeah, but if they put the nuclear codes on a high shelf as well, we'd be in trouble if the Russian situation gets worse.
Oh, come on, Gareth. There's so much more that you can criticise a man for other than his height, which is out with his control.
Well, his financial policies have been terrible too.
There you go.
I read that Pedigree Chum has gone bust this week. They've had to call the retrievers in.
Oh,
and it's just
a listener with way too much material. I think you've said enough, Gareth. Appreciate it. He'd got some more jokes written down there, but I saved us the trouble.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Better luck next time. 0345, the shortest... 0345 6060 973, text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. By the way, we put these shows out as podcasts. The Friday and Saturday night shows get put out as a podcast. It hits the internet almost the moment they're over. My glamorous assistant will organise them with his own hands. What we do is we take the news and the ads out, which means it takes less time to listen to, so you'll use less electricity. And by the end of the year, you will have saved up enough money for a homeless please help sign. Ask for them by name on an internet near you. Nick Abbott, the whole show.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
Come on, we're running late.
0345 6060 973. I'm running out of time now. I'll have to do the wallpaper gate thing tonight. You wouldn't believe how much they've spent on stuff. Stanwell, Michael.
Good morning, Nick.
Michael.
How are you doing?
Great, mate.
Good stuff. Listen, I've got a real concern, actually.
No.
I have. The House of Lords, not including the people that Boris May put forward for a lordship. Mm-hmm. So we've got a Russian in there. We've got Lord Pickles, who was the head of the person making the decisions at the time of Grenfell. We all saw him, bang the Bible and say, "I'm a bloody Christian." When he was asked difficult questions, we've got Lord Frost, who got that place because of the deal signed, which has gone nowhere.
He got Brexit done. How's Brexit going, by the way?
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Well, it's going backwards, isn't it? Let's face it. If you spell Brexit backwards, I'm sure that's what we should use from now on, because it's going nowhere. I just have I think that
Tixerb.
Yeah, there we go. And that sounds Russian. So what we should do, or what we need to do, is somehow reform the Lords, and the people that are put forward. There needs to be some sort of public vote to see if they're actually genuinely, suitable for that place, because they're the people that make decisions.
Well, you could say that, yes, but we had a public vote, and they voted for this bloke.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
So maybe that's not such a great idea after all.
No, but I mean the House of Lords. Any Prime Minister can put forward people to become members of the House of Lords.
That's right. But the people voted for Boris Johnson.
I understand
the
that.
people voted for the Conservative Party that have done this to them for the last 12 years.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is it should be a public body or a voting system that elects people to go to the House of Lords, not just a Prime Minister.
But you're saying that as though that would improve things, whereas it is not necessarily so, because, I'll restate my case, the public put this government in power.
Yeah, for one reason, for this Prime Minister, for one reason, and that was because the whole scam was that they lied to everybody in the UK about the benefits, when all it was about the rich people not being investigated into their offshore bank accounts, and Europe was down on that. Mm-hmm. We all know the reasons why we needed to get out of Europe, and it wasn't because we were being scammed or things were hard, or it was because the elite, the aristocracy, didn't want their offshore accounts getting looked into.
Well, it's not the aristocracy that it's the faces that brought us Brexit did so that the people that funded their parties and their policies, they didn't like the idea of having their offshore accounts investigated by the European Bloomin' Union. So they felt they had to get out, and this is why they still are campaigning to get us more out than we are out at the moment. But you can't tell people that, because it fogs their brain and they start yelling sovereignty at you and other hollow, meaningless words like that. But what was your point, though? Oh, the House of Lords.
I'm saying a lordship is no different to a presidential pardon, really. If you've been a bit of a scammer, well, the thing is, if you'd seen the Lord Pickles in the...
well, I don't know anything about that, and I don't want to get into that, but or any other lord that's named after a food item. But I do appreciate that, Michael. The problem with electing a House of Lords is that the people elected this bloke. This one.
Peppa Pig World. Peppa Pig World it has Peppa Pig.
So it wouldn't necessarily be better, but it would be different, but not necessarily better. 0345 6060 973. Mark says, why don't they just change the locks when he next leaves? I bet every locksmith in the country would do it for free. I can't wait till Carrie throws all of his clothes out the window. I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. Let's have Walthamstow. James.
Hello.
James.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good, thanks.
I listened to your show, sorry, I didn't put on the spot, but basically, yeah.
What?
I listened to your show. I think it's a really good show. I just want to say, yeah, thumbs up to you and all your studio and that.
Thanks.
And also, Asma, if you're listening.
Okay, that's personal messages. Call him up directly, James. If you have something to say to Ashmal, whoever that may be, then call him up directly. It's the personal touch which means so much. I don't know about you, but just from the moment you started talking...
Warning!
I got warning bells ringing in my mind. Big bells. Huge. Let's have London Fields. Patrick.
Hi there, Nick. How are we keeping this lovely morning?
Very well, thanks.
So basically, my issue is, I mean, like, obviously, I was like speaking to your guest earlier, and firstly, I find all the sort of gaffes over like Rishi's height incredibly juvenile, and they don't actually add anything to the national dialogue about the Conservative Party.
Yeah, you know what? I'm getting this again.
Warning!
I'm just going to go with my gut instinct. Maybe it's my dinner is backing up on me, but I'm getting a lot of gut instincts just right at the end of this programme. I'm just going to say I appreciate it very much there, Patrick, but highly suspicious at this end. But better luck next time. Good effort. It's like a like a third or fifth or sixth sense. How many senses? Sixth. Let's try this one. Bolton. Tom.
Hey, good evening, Nick.
Tom.
I'm ringing to speak with you directly. You'll be pleased to hear.
Okay.
Yeah, I was saying to researcher, I watched a fantastic interview with James O'Brien and Rory Stewart earlier today.
Oh, yeah.
And it's only about 7 minutes long. And he is venomous, Rory Stewart, in terms of castigating Bojo.
He is.
And this is the big warning to the taxpayer. And you might want your chair and your popcorn to watch this when the bailiffs and the police go into number 10. Because when he was sacked as the Foreign Office Minister, I think it was under Theresa May's government, Rory Stewart said that he flatly refused to leave his Grace and Favour accommodation for months because he didn't want to pay the market rate of renting a property in London.
Yeah, that sounds like him. Up and down.
Absolutely. So, yeah, and, I think it would be classified as homework to yourself, but it's well worth a watch. And so, yeah, I think we'll be dragging him out of Downing Street. Of that, I've no doubts.
Well, exactly like Donald Trump. In any given situation, just think, what would Donald Trump do? And Donald Trump, he tried to, but so people think, he tried to engineer an actual real-life coup. Now, we might not get that far in this country because there aren't enough people who actually can arm themselves. But let's see. Fingers crossed, eh? All right, thanks a lot, Tom. Worrying news. Alarming. Well, I'll have to do Wallpapergate tonight, and there's plenty else I didn't get around to because of, we're dealing with the issues. But in closing, it's a good job we, over the last 2 years or so, didn't elect a coalition of chaos under Jeremy Corbyn. Because that would have been awful. I'll be back tonight at 10 o'clock. If you stick around, I believe that Steve Allen will set you straight at 4. But first, it's Clyde Ball.
Nick, thank you. And coming up after the news. So, Boris Johnson sort of resigns. What do you think should happen next? Who should the next Prime Minister be? And where does all of this leave Keir Starmer and his Labour Party? And will the change of PM have implications for Brexit, do you think? And for Ukraine? We've also got a new Chancellor of the Exchequer. For how long, we don't know. Will he have the authority to bring in tax cuts, new policies? Also, Elon Musk has pulled out of the purchase of Twitter. I'll be talking to our tech correspondent, Will Guyatt, who has said all along that it was all a wind-up. Plus, we'll have a look at the front pages, what's on the Saturday editions. It's all coming up after the news on LBC.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC.
From Global's newsroom at 1 o'clock, a third MP has joined the race to replace Boris Johnson as Conservative Party leader and as Prime Minister. Boris Johnson announced he would stay in power until his replacement was decided, with some expecting a change of power in September or October. Former Equalities Minister Kemi Badenoch has joined Rishi Sunak and Tom Tugendhat, who announced his bid earlier.
You know, I can't give you a straight answer until I've actually spoken to people and I know whether I've got the numbers and I know I've got the support. But it's not a secret that I've been thinking about this and I've been talking to people about the sort of things that the country needs. You know, the rebirth of trust, you know, clean restart that we all need.
Police in Japan say a man's admitted assassinating the former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. The 67-year-old was shot twice from behind while giving a speech at a campaign rally in the western city of Nara yesterday. It's the first assassination of a sitting or former Japanese premier since the 1930s. Conservative peer Lord Howell, who knew Mr Abe personally, has been reflecting on his death.
I greatly admired him, and I think he did a lot for Japan and a lot for international stability. I mean, what went through my mind is just a very grim reminder of how democracy is fragile.
A man who stabbed a mother of two to death and tried to kill another woman a day later has been jailed for at least 41 years. James Sinclair murdered Shadika Patel in East Ham and attempted to murder a 48-year-old in Islington 24 hours later in March 2020. The 31-year-old has never given an explanation for why he attacked the women. London's mayor says the new Metropolitan Police Commissioner brings a genuine commitment to increasing engagement with diverse communities in the city. The Home Office named Sir Mark Rowley as Cressida Dick's successor yesterday. Elon Musk's $44 billion bid to buy Twitter is on the verge of collapse after the Tesla CEO sent a letter to the social media company's board saying he's terminating the acquisition. He says the company has not complied with its contractual obligations surrounding the deal. Computer models are predicting the UK could reach 40 degrees Celsius for the first time by mid-July. The prediction has come from a single member of a group forecast system, but a level 3 heat warning has been issued for the next week in England as temperatures are expected to reach the low 30s. And the weather forecast, dry and sunny for England, Wales and South East Scotland. Cloudy but staying dry for northern Scotland and Northern Ireland. The odd shower is due in the far north, a high of 24 degrees. From Global's newsroom, I'm Tim Newsroom. 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 I'm Tim Newsroom.